Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the second GRE sample test question solving. If you hadn't watched my previous videos, please go to the playlist and watch my previous lectures. I recommend you that you download the PDF of the sample test and solve it by yourself, and after that watch the videos to know the answers and find out in what places you may had a mistake, and in details you understand that what's the best way to solve the questions. In this video I will solve question 1 to the 5. The direction says that for question 1 to the 5, compare quantity A and B. If quantity A is bigger, so you should choose A. If B is greater, so choose B. If both A and B are equal, you should choose C, and if there are no specific relation between them, you should choose D. To understand it better, let's solve a question together. Okay, it says that for the unknown constants A, B, C, D, and E, the multiplication of A, B, and C is equal to 0. The multiplication of B, C, D is 12 and C, D, E is 0. It asks that A or E, which one is greater? Find the relation between them. For in here, A, B, C, the multiplication is 0. So for sure you can understand that one of them should be 0 at least. Or both or three of them can be 0. But in here, B, C, D is equal to 12. None of them can be 0. If, for example, B was 0, 0 multiplied by anything should be 0, not 12. So B is not 0. But in here, if you look carefully, you have B. So in here, B is not 0. Also, in here, C shouldn't be 0 because C multiplied by B and D is 12. So if it was 0, the multiplication should be 0. So in here, you have C. C shouldn't be 0, and in here also you had C, and it shouldn't be 0. Also we have D in here. D multiplied by something is not 0, so D is not 0. In here also you have D. This D shouldn't be 0. But from the information of the question, you know that A times B times C is 0. And B and C, you find out that it's not 0, so A had to remain. So A is 0, so here you can conclude that A is 0. Same in here, C and D are not 0, and the multiplication is 0. So for sure E is 0. So both A and E are 0, so the answer should be C. The two quantities are equal. Let's go to the second question. In second question is asked that the square root of 3 plus square root of 3 plus square root of 3 compared to the square root of 54 over 2 to the 2. Okay, in here you should think that square root of 3 is like an apple, and you have 3 of them. So you have 3 of them of square root of 3, and this is multiplied by itself. It's squared. So you can multiply by itself. Write 3 square root of 3, or you simply write that it's squared. And 3 is, these two are multiplied together and squared, so each of them should be squared. 3 squared is 9, and the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, it's 3. It's like in here, for example, square root of A to the 2. The square root is by 2, the second root, and it's power 2, so they cancel each other, and the answer is A. And here, 3 times 9 is 27. Let's simplify the quantity B. Here, the power 2 and a square root, they cancel each other, so it's equal by 54 over 2. you can simply say that it's 27. 2 times 7 is 14, and 2 times 2 by 1 of 14 is 5. So you can see that 27 and 27, both of them are equal, so your choice should be C. Both quantity A and B are equal. Let's move to the third question. In here, it says that x to the power 4 is 81. So let's simplify it. X to the 4, it's 81. But all of you should know that 89 is 9 to the 2. And in here, you can take the square root of both sides and divide the powers by 2. So I mean something like this. Square root of this, square root of this. I said that in before that these two, the square root and the power 2 can cancel each other. So in here it's 9. And here we have a square root. It's the second root. 4 is 2 times 2. So one of the 2's can be cancelled. This is like x to the 4. And square root is second root, so it's divided by 2. So it's x to the 2. And in here, same. 9 is 3 to the 2, and you take the square root, and the powers can be cancelled. It's 3. In here, there is a point, but I will say it later. Let's keep this in your mind. In here, 8 times something is 64. So that since y to the 3 is 64, here 8 is multiplied. On the other side of the equality, it should be divided. So it's 8. And you know that 8 is 2 to the 3. And you can conclude that y is 2. In here, you may say that, okay, x is greater than 2, so the answer should be A. But it's not. For example, minus 3, if you square it, it's 9. And in here, you took the square root and you said that it's 3. But it can be also minus 3. Because minus 3, if you take the power in here, also you could write minus 3 to the 2. Always take care when you are taking the even root. For example, the fourth root or second root, or for example, sixth root. The root can be positive or negative. For example, if you say that 2 to the 6, you know that it's 64. Also, you can say that minus 2 to the 6 is also 64. Because the minus is multiplied in even numbers. So in here, you cannot say that which one is bigger. So your choice is D. Let's go to the next question. In here, it says that we have a circle. The center is C. The area is 36 pi. And x, the angle between two radii, is more than 90 degrees. It can be 100 degrees or something more than 90 degrees. It asks about the area of the triangle and compare it to 18. Okay, you know that this is center. So from center to the circle, it should be R. R is radius. From the center to the circle, it's radius. So easily you can understand that these two edges are equal, and we name this kind of triangles with two equal edges. We call them isosceles, and you should know how to calculate the area of a triangle. Let me say a point. For example, in here you have a circle, any circle, and the angle between these two edges, name it A, name it B, and name the angle between A and B, for example, theta. the area of this triangle is A times B times the sine of the angle between A and B. This angle cannot be in here, for example, or cannot be this angle. Just the angle between two edges that you have the number, and you divide it by 2. By Pythagorean theorem, you know that if this theta is 90 degrees, it's a right angle, it should be A times B divided by 2. Why? Because the sine of the 90 degrees is 1, so it's just A times B divided by 2. So in here, you can say that area is R times R is R2 sine of X divided by 2. You know that's the sine of X for any X. In here, let me say sine of theta always is between 1 and minus 1. This is the range that sine of theta can be. Where it's 1, the maximum value is 1 whenever theta is 90 degrees. You can say that sine of theta is 1 if and only if just when theta is pi over 2 or 90 degrees. But in here it says that it's not 90 degrees. So it would be sine of x is less than 1. So it's less than R2 over 2, and sine of x is less than 1. I didn't write the 1. Also in the question, it says that the area of the circle is this one. What is the area of circle? Area of circle is R squared pi. It says that it's 36 pi. You can delete the pi, so R2 is 36, so R is 6. Replace it here in here. 6 times 6 is 36 divided by 2 is 18. So the area of triangle is less than 18. So this is less than 18. So the answer should be B. A common mistake to solve this question is that you can say that, okay, I know by Pythagorean theorem that if x was 90 degrees, so the area of the triangle was R squared divided by 2, which is 18. But x is greater than 19, so the area should be greater than 18, and you rush and answer A. But it's not the case. If you make it wider, this line will be closer to the center and the area will be less. You should be careful about this. Let's go to the last question of this video. It says that S is the set of all integer multiples of 999. T is the set of all integer multiplies of 9999. It's asked the number of elements in the intersection sets of S and T. Those numbers that belongs to both of S and T. Let's write mathematically what is S. S is all kind of numbers that are 999 multiplied by an integer. This integer small s such that s can be 0 or can be +1 or -1. These are all integers, and so on. Also t is 9999 for nines and an integer. This integer can be like this, or can be all of these integers, and so on. Okay, but we know that this one can be written like 9 times this. 9 times this is 999 and multiplied by that s. Same in here. I can erase this and write 9 times 1, 1, 1, 1, 4 times 1 multiplied by t. These are s and t. Let me define another integer like s prime. I can define it 1, 1, 1, 1, 4 times 1 and something k. K is an integer. like 0 or 2 or anything, and t prime as 1 1 1 and a k can be any of the integers. And if I put s prime in here, so these numbers would be like 9 times 1 1 1 times 4 times 1 times k. In here, this is 9, 4 times 9 times 1 1 1 and times k. And these k's can be equal together. If they are equal together, so these kind of numbers are in both of these sets. Pay attention, this and this one. All of them are belongs to these kinds. If k be anything, put k equal to, so this s is 4 times 1 times 2. If k is 5, it's 4 times 1 times 5. In here, it is 5, it's 5 times 3 times 1. It's belong to this set. So these two sets, for any value of k is infinite numbers of integers, belongs to both s and t. So the intersection of s and t has infinite amount of numbers. So a is bigger and the choice is a. I think that this question is a little difficult for elementary students, but if you think a little about it, you will understand that how easy is this question. But at first view, it may seems a little difficult question. Okay, I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to my channel to watch the other videos and solve and learn GRE questions together. Have a nice time.